Can you hear it? You kind of hear this out here all the time because the aquaponics system over here is constantly running water, right? It sounds like little waterfalls. But what you don't hear all the time is over here, and that's all the snow melting. And if you look around, the snow is almost gone. It's noon. It is 40 degrees. It was 28 earlier, and it's 40 right now. Came out, played with Magnus for a few minutes. Now I'm bringing him his bucket of Purina One Pro Plan puppy in there, a little bacon grease on there, and then some chopped up steak that didn't get used and looks like a leftover sausage. And he'll eat what he wants. And he's not like the other dogs. I don't know if he would take this right now. We gave him a bunch of hay bales. We had a wall built in here, so there was like a windbreak all around here. And he pushed these hay bales over here and made this nest. So maybe it was too hot for him. He could definitely get into that corner. He could get into the dog loo where he usually is, but he chose to sleep in here. And maybe it was too hot, so he got the air flow from the sides there. Maybe that's why he did that. The other dogs we have really long hair, and they will literally sleep in the snow. And when you go to pet them, fur is completely frozen. Pyrenees hair, they get these big like dreadlocks, right? So we cut them off, and you'll have them. They'll be like this big around. You'll be out in soaking wet rain and everything. You'll cut them in half. They're dry inside. Those dogs, we give them nesting material and straw and dog loos, and we had heated kennels for them. Those dogs sleep out in the ice and snow no matter what, to the point where I actually thought at one point we had lost one of them. I thought it was dead. Walked up on it and I'm like, oh man, she's dead. Pet her, and she was just sleeping in the ice. That was years ago. We had some lasagna the other day, and we were short a couple people at work, and I don't eat a whole lot. I'll eat lasagna at lunch. That'll go out scrap to the animals today. And Mondays when we do the freezer kitchen, the fridge clean out, it's kind of a mess right now. I can't really see what's in there. That'll go to chickens, It's like spring, but it's not. It's going to pretend and trick all the plants into believing spring is here. They're going to start growing again, and then it's going to freeze up again. That's happened the last couple of years. We've lost quite a few plants and had a lot of lack of fruit production due to that. These are all blueberries. We have 5 varieties of blueberry, and they're all considered to be rabbit eye blueberries. And these ones have never done well. Very little fruit production, very little growth. I really feel like this hill is a waste. We used to come flying down here, and there'd be a little jump, and then we'd come tearing into this berm and this uphill over here, and there's a couple jumps up there. But we really don't ride here like that anymore. I feel like we should plant this little slope, this whole hill, in trees and something productive. I'm just not sure what. And there's a lot of rock, and it's mostly clay and chert under here. The blueberries, we dug them up with an excavator, dug a hole, and then put some soil in there, and then put most of the old soil back in with it. Because when we dug big holes before and filled it with soil and put trees in it, it basically made like quicksand. It always had nothing but wet mud and soil in it, and it root rotted the trees. They grew okay. We actually got fruit off the trees, but within a few years the trees died, and when we pulled them out, the roots were gone. They had just rotted out, and that whole area was just super soft and always held too much moisture. And we never did put trees inside the fence line because the goats have been gone. So it's time to put something useful in place for sure. My favorite Christmas tree is a Canadian blue spruce, and we planted 36 of those up here. And you can see one of the remaining ones is right here, and it's not the live one. It's this dead one right here. It's dead. This is a wind blow, and there's quite a few wind blows here. That's what these are on the property. These are just trees that blew in, grew, and whatever variety that is, they do well here. Whereas these never did well. This is the last one living, and here's a wind blow. Here's a wind blow, which probably need to get out of there. It's pretty close to this pipe that comes up here. And then this was just a hole that was dug when the big pond here was leaking. We scraped it back down, put a bunch of bentonite, and then we needed red clay to put over it. So we just dug this for clay, and it just ends up filling up. Now, when we have a lot of rain, the rain falls into that pond. In a day, we can pump, well, in a couple hours, we can pump from that pond, totally fill this. And in the summer, this is in shade, and it stays filled pretty high almost the entire year. It's probably ice in that gutter. The ice on top is melting. The gutter's probably not. It's full of ice probably. That's why it's coming out the seam. We probably have some that's traveled through here and froze as well. It's possible also it's frozen in here. Water comes off of there through that gutter system into here and then fills up. And as you see, it's leaking out here, which it is very rare that happens. And then the overflow goes into the pond. So as that fills, when it tops, the excess goes into the pond. Normally, in a big rain, when it overpowers the gutter, it fills this trough here, which you can kind of see happening right here. It's doing it a little bit. So I would have thought egg production was considerably lower than it is right now. The wind blew the pen open, now the chickens are out. The egg production is definitely down with the cold. But as cold as it was, I'm surprised we got as many eggs as we did. I'll lock these guys out, and in a few minutes I'll come throw some scratch down and they'll come running back in here. I don't care that they're out. I just need them in though, so that they lay their eggs in here. If they're out, a lot of them are lazy and they'll just go to sleep wherever. Rather, oh, you're not supposed to be in here either. Come on. Out. They know. They're smart. Tricky. Conniving. These eggs actually feel frozen. Some of them might be frozen. About 40 right here in the sun. Was 22. You want this? Before them birds come steal it from you? What? I guess she does. Eyes. And here comes the boy. Grabs her by the head. Okay, he didn't seal the deal. This one here. Jams it in, fell off. I don't know if he got her or not. She's shaking her tail like he did. He's like, nope, I get another turn. And it seems like every time I've seen one mate, they're on the left side. They enter from the left side. I've never seen a right side one. Wait. I found a duck egg or two over here the other day. Like one's trying to make a nest, but I think the chickens are eating their eggs. That's what that was. The nest box they usually don't use. We used to have chickens that would use every one of these nest boxes, but now they just use like these two on the end, and then they've been using this egg feels frozen. You'll start noticing that you're having way less eggs, and then you'll find an enormous nest that they have left somewhere. They're too stupid. Little asshole. This is one of that first batch we got a couple of years ago when we bought up a ton of chickens. Purple Orpingtons, and I had 6 of them, and the other birds bullied them to death, and they ripped this one's tail feathers out. It's filled back in, but it still has no tail feathers. I really didn't think that thing was going to live. I'm setting pins up again right now, and these chickens didn't all know each other. I'd keep my barred rocks in one pin, I'd keep my Orpingtons in another. If we ever decide to let them hatch their own eggs out, we know what we're getting. This thing, ratty and miserable. These are pretty decent looking barred rocks. This thing here with no feathers right now, ice and snow, man, I don't know how that thing's even alive. And from the looks of it, it looks like something, looks like several things have tried to kill it. So I forgot to turn the faucet off the other day. So yesterday, we didn't have any water coming out of the hoses. I left this faucet up and it froze. We might still have to scoop water with a pitcher, not a problem. I'm filling the chicken waters, which is every 3 or 4 days is what that requires. But I'm filling them with the hose, and the water is running out of the hose. So I just take this. I have an on-off valve, but it restricts the flow of the water. I just pinch it, and it's not good for the hose. And when you break the hose down, just cut it off and put a new piece on there. You can see this one was dog chewed. It's got 20 some fixes in here. Look what I found here. Another zip tie sitting here. I've never had a problem with them. Animals eating them and stuff. It's really just pet peeve. But there's always plastic from something, who knows what. Could have been dog kennel trays, could have been, moving rabbits and ducks back from the flea markets and stuff, any number of things. Asshole chicken now trying to get back in, despite him putting forth his best efforts to stay out. Now he wants back in. Back to pretty much normal right now. Let's see if mice are here. No mice there. Big old fat mama mouse just ran down a hole. Chicken saw it. Too late. That mouse will return. No chickens of interest here. They have feed. They don't seem very interested in feed. Maybe I'll give them a little scratch to draw them over here. Give them a little bait here. Okay, here comes all the chickens. Let's expose under this trash can. Nothing. How about this one? Mice. Too late. Too late. It's like they're slow from the cold, like they're lethargic. No mice were consumed today, though we did see 2 mice. So we had the grow out cage. Those rabbits down there are pretty older. One had babies. I pulled her and her babies and brought her in here and put her with another mom in here that had babies. When it was cold, she just let her babies go. She didn't take care of them. That looks to be the case here too. Looks like all her babies are dead also in here. And this was the new mom right here, and that was the other one. So a lot of times on their first litters they don't take care of them, and then the second one they usually do. Every now and then you'll have one that does well on the first. Yeah, those are all cold and dead. She did not care for them. So we will take those dead bunnies and I just give them to the chickens, and the chickens eat them. Here's Bugs running circles around my feet again. You will notice he will run around you and kind of like jump over your foot, and he will pee on you. He'll run past you and piss, like literally to mark you. I'll tap him on his back there with my shoe. Not kick him, just tap him. He will run back to you. I'm pretty sure it's a game he's playing. Like, he is entertained by this. When you're down here, he won't come up to you though. When you can, I think he just knows. Here's the duck nest. Looks like we're down some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe now. To fill these, I just pull the tops. They have a little flap in them, but that plastic will break over time. So I just pull the cap off and fill water just like that. Okay, some of these bottles had water in them already. What that means is the valves are still frozen. So I will continue to bowl water, but we don't have to use the pitchers. We can just fill them out of the hose. So I take a flake, you know, about that much, and I put a flake in each of the cages. And you can make a nest or a wall or whatever. The rabbits will move it where they want. Most of these rabbits won't use this at all. Some of them will, but for the most part, they won't use this at all. I'm putting it in here. They're nibbling on it right now. It has no nutritional value, really. It's straw. It's hollow. There's some seed heads on there, but for the most part, they're just nibbling on it because it's something new. I'm putting it in there so they can cuddle up in it should they want more warmth. We have 16-degree weather coming. This one here sits in her box all the time. Comes out at night, eats. You never see her eat or drink. Others have boxes and they never use them. And then others have boxes. They chew them apart. I went through the other night, put wood chips in all their boxes should they want to get in there. Some of them do. This one here, I put wood chips in her box. She has kicked them all out, ate them. I don't know what she did with them. Others, they like to use them as a litter box. So there's always a difference. There's a different personality in it, each one. Some eat water bowls, some don't. Some kick all the food out of their feeders. Some only eat the feed. That's what I'm doing right now. Just straw. All the extra work going on right now is just preparing for the cold. Coming up, just to show you, duck nest looks like 2, 4, 6, 7. When I put the straw in, there'll be a heavy manure load. Once it warms up in a week or so, we'll pull all that straw out, spread it all around the ground, let it rot down. It'll be full of piss and manure, and then we'll give them new straw if we need to.